Hey everyone, it's Melissa. Good to see you here. Let me get set up so I know what's going on. Hope you're doing well today. All right. Today we are going to be talking about options to protect your baking business. This is an important thing to talk about, even if you already have an option in place or you don't have anything, you're looking around, you're just getting started. This is information that really any baker can use because we work really hard on our businesses. So knowing what's out there to help us protect what we've done is super important. Okay. I can see myself, I can hear myself. I should be able to see comments, so go ahead and put a hashtag replay if you are viewing this information on the replay. If you are viewing on the live, you'll go ahead and do your hashtag live like normal. Let me get my notes up here. Okay, so as I mentioned, I'm Melissa with Build a Better Bakery. Our main mission is to help you make baking business simple step by step. We love to help you with all the little nitty gritties. We have the elite program. It's kind of a mentorship setup with lots of information, meetings every week if you join at certain tiers. There's a lot of support available for you outside of this group and here in this group. So definitely take part, watch the videos, post in the group if you want to talk about something, share something about yourself or your business. That's why we're here. As I mentioned, we're going to be talking about the top 3 strategies to protect your baking business today, the 3 that I suggest looking at first if you are wanting to get into some kind of protection, if you will, for what you're doing. You can always check the events here to see what's going on. I'm bad at posting them really early, so just know that I'm here at 9 a.m. every Thursday, Pacific Standard Time, to chat with you about some kind of subject, baking business related. You can also send me a friend request that will allow me to invite you to these lives in the Facebook group every week. Otherwise, the group's too big, so I have to be your friend on Facebook to be able to send something to you through the event. You can also join the email list. I will send out replays to these and other resources for you, usually on a weekly basis or so. So those are the ways that you can stay connected and get more of this type of information if you like it. Now, no matter what stage you're in with your business, you are bound at some point to determine that you want to protect what you have. That could be at the very beginning, that could be 5 years in, whatever it is. No judgment if you haven't done any of this or even thought about it, that's okay. I want to first start off with contracts, number 1. Now, this one can be dealt with in a number of ways. There are different avenues that people take with contracts. For me, I'm just going to share what I do. You can take it or leave it. Okay. So for me, I like to take the easy way out per se. And I like to use a comprehensive contract that is something that all clients agree to via a live link. So it's not something I have to print out. It's not something I have to send to them to sign. It's a live link. I've uploaded it. I've created it and uploaded it to my pages and my website. And on the website, that's how you can create a live link, but you can also do it via a post. You can just copy and paste the post from maybe your pinned Facebook group page or Facebook page or whatever you have. You don't actually have to pay for a website to get something like that. But I take that live link and I send that to them and they view it before they place an order. Okay, so essentially the wording in the contract says that once money is sent to me for XYZ, that they're agreeing to the terms and the conditions within the contract. So they know when I send her money, I'm saying yes to all of this, and the wording is in the contract itself. So there is no real reason to have to sign anything because they know when they send the money, they're agreeing. The contract is available publicly at all times. And a lot of times, if you want to get something in writing, you can send them via messenger or email. This is the link to my contract. Please give it a read. Once you pay for your product, you'll see at the bottom that that means you're agreeing to the terms. And if they actually send the money next or they respond to you, you'll have that paper trail so that you can, if you have to claim that they've been given the contract information to view, then you have that information. So if that worries you, that's something that you can do as well. And that's where the live link is good too, because that's all like a, something that you can go back and screenshot or copy and paste or whatever you need to do. Okay, so as I mentioned, I do have it posted on my pages and on my website for easy access publicly. Anybody can look at it at any time. It's like a live button on my website. They can download it. They can do whatever they want with it. Or I don't know if they can download it, but they can definitely view it. Now so that's contracts essentially, right? That's something that you can have in place. I suggest, even if you do small orders, I suggest that you make sure that there's some kind of contract somewhere. So even if you're doing mostly $5 sales, $10 sales, you're not doing larger sales, there has to be something in place for people to understand how you're running your business. What's going to happen if something else happens, like, you know, something they don't like, something's wrong with their order, XYZ, how do refunds work, how do cancellations work, all of that, right? There's all these little nitty gritty bits that are in the comprehensive contract that I use to answer all of those questions on the front end. That information just needs to be out there and available so people understand what their job is and what your job is and how everything's going to work. Okay, now second, I want to consider insurance. So first was contract, second is insurance. In some cases, you will notice that venues and organizations that you want to work with may require that you carry insurance to work with them at all, to be a provider, to bring your product into their venue, whatever it is. I've experienced this a number of times, specifically with wedding venues. They were very particular that I had to carry my own insurance to be able to bring product into their business. And even some local agencies that create permits for you, permitting in your area. In fact, the one I am with right now requires insurance. That's a little odd. It's because of where I live and how strange it is here. This very isolated place. We actually don't have, it's a closed gate military community. So we don't have like San Bernardino County people coming in here to check on us. They do it all themselves. So for some reason, they decided they wanted to require everyone to have insurance. So that is something that everyone has to do here if you have a home-based business. Now, I often get asked for recommendations, and I would suggest first looking at FLIP Insurance. That's Food Liability Insurance Program. I believe it's just flip.com. You can easily Google this. That's definitely the first one to look at because a lot of people have it. And a lot of bakers use this. It's the top one. So definitely take a look at that first. You can also check through a brokerage, an insurance brokerage, which you might have contact with already through your bank or something like that. And what they do is they look at multiple offers at once. So instead of just talking to one insurance provider that's showing you one thing, you can talk to someone that's going to show you across the board some options for what you're looking for. And usually they can find you the best deal from those specific providers. You might have to give them a little cut or something about that, right? Like there might be some payment going on between the brokerage and you, but what's going to happen is you're going to end up with a policy that's the best deal for what you need. And they kind of do all the work for you to look through it. So it's, if you're confused or you're overwhelmed by it and you don't want to go with Flip, I would suggest that as the second option. For me, that's what I did because it was slightly cheaper. But if it hadn't been, I would have gone with Flip. And mine worked out to be about $250 a year, $250 US a year. And for me, that's very affordable for that kind of coverage, especially because I'm required to have it. That's something I personally can do. You might end up with a different number. I know some of them that I was looking at directly through their website was a lot higher than that. If you need another type of insurance, which I do because I do this online work as well. That's the other reason I went through the brokerage, because I was able to kind of combine my multiple insurance payments through the brokerage and get a better deal that way. So again, it's going to be completely up to you what's best for your situation. Now, I do want to mention, because some people kind of flip-flop between insurance and LLC, which is the last thing that I'm going to talk about. But I want you to keep in mind that insurance is different because it's what pays out if something happens. An LLC is not going to pay out anything. It's a completely different thing. So insurance is what pays out if there's a problem, okay, and you can get your claim in. This could be illness due to your product, which is honestly very rare and really hard to prove. So I don't actually hear a lot about that. What I hear more about is injury of clients and customers and other issues like that. So maybe they got injured when they came to pick up the order. They slipped and fell on the stairs. They, something, you sent a knife, like a cake cutting set with them, and they cut themselves with a knife. I don't know, right? There's lots of ways that clients can hurt themselves that you might not consider. But this is one way that insurance could possibly help with this if they sue you for medical bills or whatever, right? Maybe you went to go deliver something and you harmed the property. You hit their mailbox, you drove through their new sod or whatever, right? There's lots of who knows, but it could be something that you're not thinking about that's not food related that insurance can help with. So again, it's not just about the food, it's how you interact with your surroundings when you're working, how your customers are interacting with your business, and everything that's going around you that is also something that could be protected as well through insurance. Lastly, this is just a little cutesy thing. Once you're insured, you can also mention that you're insured. That could be on your website, that could be on your Facebook and Instagram profiles. And it's just to professionalize the look to your business. Something nice to say. People feel a little more confident that you thought about your business and that you are taking the steps to be professional. People like that. So that is something you can just plop up there once you get that in there. Now, I'm just going to let y'all know that I can see myself. Oh, there's a bunch of comments. Okay. It's for some reason the internet is hiding the comments from me. Oh, I'm sorry. Poop. Well, I can't see them, but I'm going to come back to them. Okay, so just say whatever you have to say about this. I will come back and talk to you later. All right. I don't know why it's hiding it for me. I can see that there are comments, that there are 7, but I cannot see them. So I'm so sorry. All right, number 3. This is the last one we're going to talk about today. I'm not going to take up a ton of your time on this. You can definitely get into the weeds on the LLC, but I do want to mention it because sometimes people think insurance and LLC are kind of the same thing, and they're really not. So I want to mention what is it and what are some good reasons to have one. So an LLC, a limited liability company, right? This is, if you think about taxes, you're essentially creating a new legal entity separate from yourself. So how, you use your social security number for taxes and things like that. None of that anymore. This is basically like you're creating a person in a way, another entity for the tax system that is separate from you completely. That's a very important point that I will get to in a moment. Separate from you completely. And this situation can have pros and cons. There's more paperwork, you might have extra fees. Specifically, I can mention that it might get kind of expensive. So here in California, where I'm living right now, creating your LLC here is $800 a year. And that is just, there's probably also fees. I did not do it, but there's probably also fees included with getting it set up, paying someone to help you with it, etc. Right? So it can get expensive. And that's why I want you to deeply think about this one before you hop in and assume you have to have it, because you do not have to have this. This is not something that's required. No one's going to force you to have an LLC ever. Sometimes insurance, like we talked about, that's going to be kind of a deal breaker, but LLC is not a requirement to have your business. Now, you might want to do things a certain way. This might be the way that you need to do it. So that's okay. Do it if it's right for you. I'm not telling you not to. I just want you to be cautious with it, because I see a lot of new people starting their business and thinking they have to have this thing when they really don't. And sometimes they decide they don't want to bake, they'll do it for a year and they've got all these costs wrapped up in the LLC, which they didn't even really need to do in the first place. So that's why I'm bringing it up in this way. If you're a person who works alone, the sole proprietor status is where you would start, right? You're a person working alone, you're using your own information, you're doing all your taxes together. There isn't a separate entity that you've created for your business tax-wise. You're just claiming everything as a sole proprietor entrepreneur on your taxes. This allows you to be more flexible. So you can use your private accounts, you can move stuff around, you can do what you want because it's all you, right? And there's not going to be any penalties if you do X, Y, Z. If you create the LLC, you can no longer combine what you're doing and what the business is doing. So you can't use your personal credit card, you can't use your personal anything, right? Like it has to all be business stuff. That might be an issue. What if you have really good credit under your name, but you have no credit under your business name, and now you can't get a loan through your LLC, right? Or let's say, you accidentally used your personal card for something for your business, and then you claim it on your taxes, and then someone sues you, and then the lawyer sees that you did that, and then your LLC is they can prove that you are that business, that you are that person, and that you did that thing. And that can poke a lot of holes in an LLC as far as it's meant to protect you from being sued, which does not happen very often. I've literally never met anyone that's been sued at this point. But it's supposed to protect you from something like that and protect your assets from being taken. But if you do something that proves that you are the business, right? Because you're supposed to be two different things. If you accidentally do something that proves that a lawyer can see that, oh, that is you, then my understanding is that when that happens, your LLC is basically not doing what it's supposed to do anymore. So it can be risky in that respect. So if you work alone, this is where I want you to really super think about it, because do you need that extra? Do you really need the extra coverage? Can you just get some really good insurance instead? Is there something about the legal part of it that you want? Is there some kind of tax break? Is there something happening that's going to be really beneficial for you? Then that's where you weigh it out, scale it out. Is this actually worth it? Look at all the ins and outs. Talk to people that aren't trying to sell you LLC services too, because they're going to try to sell it to you. They want you to do it because they want your money. So you've got to kind of look into the background of what's going on with it. I will say that if you have multiple owners, a partnership, employees, if there are other hands touching your product, if there are other people going around doing things for you, looking at an LLC is a better idea, because there are lots of people that need to be covered for whatever's going on. And now there's all this other stuff going on. It's not just you, right? So that's a good situation of where I would suggest, yes, heavily look at it, see how it can benefit you, see if the cost outweighs whatever, the benefits might be. You want them to be equal or more so, right? When you're looking at it. Okay, so I just wanted to warn you, it does not have to be something that you jump right into. Definitely take a look at it. Long story short, I'm not sure that an LLC is necessary or terribly useful for those working alone in their business. And that is my opinion. I am not anything other than a baking business mentor and a baker myself. I have never had one. I have never needed to use one. I've always carried high-end insurance, and that has been good enough for me. I have never had to use my insurance. I've never had anything happen to me, but I have been required to have that insurance part. So that's where I'll land on that one. What I also do, I mentioned as number one, is I carry that comprehensive contract. This is important because a lot of times problems happen when you do something that the customer didn't expect, or you do something out of the blue, or they do something out of the blue because nobody understands the transaction and how things are working. So that's where the contract is important too. It helps deal with expectations of what it's going to be like to work with you. So that's why I suggest contract first, then look at insurance, then LLC if it works for you. Okay. So to help you with these options, I recommended the flip insurance. Look at that one first, then move on to the brokerage if you want to check out more than that and see what's going on. Deeply consider the LLC before jumping into it. You're going to have to do the legwork on both of those. So I've given you a little bit of things, a couple things to think about, and you can go in and check out, get those set up. If you want to go with flip insurance, I've heard that it's very fast. You can literally get it set up in one day. Not a huge deal. LLC is going to be more work. There's going to be more to that. It usually takes a little while. So be prepared if you do want to set one of those up, that you have planned out some time, a couple days, a week, maybe two, to get everything together for that. Now for the contract, that is one thing I can help with if you want the help. I do have a copy of the one that I made and use right now. It's been compiled and tweaked over the last 17 years or so. So I've added lots of things to it. I've deleted lots of things. I've changed the wording. I've made it as comprehensive as I've ever needed. So basically anything that I've ever had a problem with, I go back to the contract and I add it in, because I'm like, we're not doing that anymore. So that's why it's a little longer than some contracts you might see. That's why it's very specific to the baking industry, because that's where the information came from. So it's not a generic contract. It is very specific to what we do and how we do it. You are welcome to grab this too if you need it. It's literally sitting on the website ready for you now. A nice gift to yourself, a gift to your business to protect yourself and do it simple and easy and not have to fuss around with it. I guarantee that it will save you hours upon hours. If you were planning on doing this yourself or making one up, I guarantee this is going to save you hours, because that's how long it took me to do it. So I know that it's going to be the same for you as you're looking through information and finding out what you need to type and X, Y, Z. It also includes a variety of sections that many bakers between like years 1 and 5, you probably might not experience those things that I have in there, because it takes a while to kind of get a wild hair in your business. So there are sections in there that, when I mentioned comprehensive, it is very comprehensive. So it's things that you might not even have considered yet, but definitely something that you'll need for the future. So feel free to comment here for the link to the contract. You can also DM me. I can send it over that way. Super simple. When you go to the shop, you'll see I've listed out all of the sections, so you can see what's on it. You don't have to buy it to see the sections. You can just see the sections. And then when you purchase the contract, it comes over via, I think it's Word doc and PDF. And you can take that and you can change it. You can add your information in. At the very beginning, I give you steps on how to use it, how to share it, how to tweak it through, via template, XYZ. So it's really easy to use. And I'm always available via email if you want to chat about it. Additionally, at the end of all of the documents that I send out in the shop, there's an active link to the active document that I always update. So that means once you purchase something from the shop, you'll never have to purchase it again, because you will always have the most current option. So every time you go to download it or change it, you could always click on the link and just see if anything's changed with it. It's super simple and good for you, because then you don't have to go around trying to get the newest version of everything, and that's annoying. So I just put that on there. Okay, now that's it for me. So remember, contract, insurance, and then LLC. If it makes sense for you, don't jump into it right away. All right, those are the 3 I suggest. I'm here for questions. I know that you have put, you've put comments, and I really super apologize. I do not understand. Look, I'll even show you. I can't see any of the comments. I know they're there. So I'm going to come back. I'm going to zoom back around and answer them if you had any questions. If you want to jump on private calls with me, I have scheduling open. We can talk about this kind of stuff together one-on-one. I know some people don't want to talk in the group always. That's okay. I've got a lot of this covered deeply in the elite program as well. So if you join in there on any tier, you're going to see the vault information with all of this covered in it. And I also do weekly group sessions where we talk about whatever you want, hang out for about an hour every week. And that's for tiers gold and platinum. So if you wanted to join the elite mentorship program for a period of time, those are the 2 tiers that's going to get you the weekly coaching. Okay. All right. All right. Thanks for hanging out today. I'll see you all later. I've got a lot of baking to do, Father's Day stuff coming up. So I will chat with you later. Okay. Now I just got to figure out how to shut this down. Okay. All right. Bye. See you later.